Welcome, treasure seekers, to another enlightening episode of Kingdom Treasures, where we uncover hidden gems of biblical history. As we begin our journey today, let's reflect on the words from Proverbs 25:2. In the bustling streets of Alexandria, Egypt, during the 3rd century BC, a revolutionary project was underway, one that would forever change the course of religious history. This is the story of the Septuagint. Imagine a book so powerful that it sparked religious debates that continue to this day. Picture a translation that was so controversial, it divided communities. Under the reign of Ptolemy II Philadelphus, Alexandria was not merely Egypt's capital. It was the intellectual epicenter of the ancient world. The great library of Alexandria stood as a beacon of knowledge. However, despite its vast collection, one particular compilation was conspicuously missing: the sacred texts of the Jewish people. Recognizing the profound cultural and spiritual significance, what happened next has become legendary. Ptolemy, one of the most influential figures of his time, ordered a monumental task that would leave a lasting imprint on history. He gathered an impressive assembly of 72 Jewish scholars from the city of Jerusalem. These were not just any scholars, but individuals steeped in the rich traditions and comprehensive knowledge. The scholars began with the Torah, the 5 essential books of Moses: Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy. They recognized that these texts formed the bedrock of Jewish law. This massive undertaking was not simply a task of linguistic conversion. It was an endeavor to maintain the integrity and meaning of the original writings. Over time, this project expanded far beyond the initial 5 books, eventually encompassing the entirety of what we now refer to as the Old Testament. This monumental translation marked a significant moment in literary history, creating a version of these sacred texts that was accessible to a wider audience beyond the Hebrew-speaking population. By opening the texts to such a broad audience, the translation played a crucial role in shaping religious and cultural exchanges. The translation process, from Hebrew to Greek, was much more than a mere word-for-word substitution. It involved an intricate weaving together of 2 disparate worldviews, each with its own distinct characteristics and nuances. On one hand, there was the deeply spiritual, context-rich Hebrew tradition, which was steeped in ritual, narrative, and a profound spiritual legacy. On the other hand, there were the Greek philosophical frameworks, which prized logic, clarity, and analytical rigor. These frameworks sought precision and methodical reasoning, often focusing on the exact meaning and rational grounding of texts. The translation was essential in making these texts available to a Greek-speaking audience, yet it was fraught with challenges, difficulties, and unintended consequences that emerged as both cultures intersected and sometimes clashed during the process. The complexities involved in weaving together these rich traditions highlight the monumental impact and significance of this translation effort, ultimately showcasing how this endeavor was a pivotal point in the history of religious texts and the sharing of cultural knowledge. As ancient Hebrew concepts were subtly adjusted to fit into the Greek modes of thought, a series of shifts in interpretation began to surface. These translations often demanded a delicate balance between maintaining the original intent and making the ideas comprehensible to a different worldview. One of the most significant transformations arose with the translation of Torah to Nomos. While Torah carried a rich tapestry of meanings including divine instruction, guidance, and law, Nomos in Greek was more narrowly defined, simply meaning law. This change subtly but significantly altered the interpretative framework through which readers, especially those outside the Jewish tradition, understood the divine message. The original term, Torah, encapsulated not only legal aspects but also deeply personal and communal dimensions, reflecting a covenantal relationship between God and his people. It signified a holistic guide to life, encompassing moral, ethical, and spiritual teachings aimed at nurturing the community's relationship with the divine. On the other hand, the translation to Nomos narrowed this expansive meaning to a legalistic perspective, implying a set of rules devoid of the rich cultural and spiritual connotations inherent in Torah. This transformation had profound repercussions on the perception of God's interactions and intentions regarding his covenant. It moved from a personal, familial bond that Torah implied, a relationship built on commitment and mutual understanding, to a more transactional interpretation, shaped by compliance with the law. Consequently, readers influenced by the translation might have viewed God's commands not as a blueprint for harmonious living, but as an impersonal set of regulations demanding adherence. This shift in perception fundamentally changed the theological and cultural context, affecting how communities developed their religious practices and philosophical outlooks stemming from these foundational texts. The translation of prophetic passages, such as Isaiah 7:14, into the Septuagint underscores the profound influence of linguistic nuances on religious interpretation. The shift from the Hebrew Alma to the Greek Parthenos is one of the pivotal examples demonstrating how translation can alter theological discourse. This particular interpretation contributed significantly to the understanding of prophecies related to the birth of Jesus, firmly embedding the concept of a virgin birth in Christian theology. These translational choices can be further explored through verses such as Matthew 1:23, which references Isaiah 7:14, using the wording virgin to affirm the prophetic nature of Jesus' birth. By examining such translations and their implications, it becomes evident how they facilitated dialogue and debate across Judeo-Christian traditions. These shifts in language and meaning not only enriched theological frameworks, but also posed challenges by introducing varying perspectives on prophecy and doctrinal authenticity. The story of the Septuagint is more than just a tale of translation. It's a testament to how ideas transform as they cross cultural boundaries. Whether viewed as a divine inspiration or dangerous innovation, its influence on religious thought cannot be denied. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore another fascinating chapter in biblical history.